We as a society have a common enemy, something that always gets in our way, a creature that controls the quality of our lives. You might imagine I'm talking about some monster from a Stephen King novel, but no, I'm talking about sleep. Or am I talking about stress? Well, you might be saying to yourself, oh, great, another person to tell me when I should sleep and when I should wake up, like it's my problem. Well, I'm telling you something a little bit more than that. While sleep deprivation has very few short term consequences, it seems like a life hack for procrastinators who do their assignments at the last minute. Me. Let's explore the relationship between sleep and stress. You might imagine it to be like Batman or the Joker, the arch nemesis, titled by society. But no, they are like Batman and Robin. They depend on each other. If Batman messes up something in his job, people die. And if Robin messes up something on his end, people also die. If I draw a diagram of sleep and stress, it's as simple as that. Lack of sleep causes excess stress, and excess stress causes a lack of sleep. Now, exactly what is classified as a lack of sleep? The National Sleep Foundation recommends this amount of hours for these age categories. Now, being a young adult, it's 7 to 9 hours a day. Well, considering that I sleep like 6 hours and I had like 2 hours of sleep yesterday, that raises a lot of problems. But why? There's this weird image in everyone's head that sleep is like a bank. Like, if I miss an hour of sleep yesterday, I can catch it up tomorrow. Well, that's not the case, ladies and gentlemen. It's much more deeper than that. Sleep is a big part of your life. You can't control it like a remote or like a toy. To get back on your sleep schedule correctly, you need to at least spend 1 week of healthy sleeping. And that really affects it. Well, the reason I chose this topic, even though being a math student, choosing a topic of biology and psychology like sleep, is because I have gone through sleep deprivation. There were times where I would come home really late at night and go to school really early in the morning that it started bugging me. I wanted to find out what is it I can do. What is it I can do to fix my sleep? What is it I can do to be as productive, as fresh as possible every single day? And then I had shakes practices, drama practices, extracurricular activities, and there were some times that I would get less than 2 hours of sleep a day for weeks in a row. The effects weren't that big consequences, but then the short term effects were that I fall asleep everywhere. And I mean everywhere. In school, in class, in the bus. And people at a point started to think that I was dying or had like a cancer or something, considering the amount of time I slept. Well, after a few weeks, it didn't feel as bad. But the worst was yet to come, ladies and gentlemen. After I finished most of my responsibilities, I found myself in bed by about 11 p.m. I was happy at a point that, oh God, finally I can get a good round of sleep. But I never did. I was tossing and turning in the bed, looking at my phone, doing random stuff, organizing my room in the middle of the night until 2 a.m. This proves a good point. Sleep routines work. If I sleep at 2 a.m. one day, and if I continue it for a week, a month, that is going to be my routine. I can always fall asleep at 2 a.m. and wake up at 8 a.m., no matter how unhealthy it is. We don't feel the effects normally, but the effects are there. It's just that they're deep inside your conscience and your body. Well, I tried taking antibiotics, zinc tablets, iron tablets, but none of them worked. And then next up, this is what I look like in the early in the morning, a sloth. I would wake up in the morning, go in the bus, I would be busy. Sometimes I might miss my stop and have to walk a few kilometers to get back to school. It has happened to me, trust me. And then next, this prove again that sleep habits do work. But what actually happens when we sleep? What goes through our minds? Let's say that I fell asleep and you just remember waking up again, but your body doesn't. Your body goes through a range of things that it does to fix your sleep, fixing problems in your body you didn't even know existed. This is necessary for people. Trust me. And then let me take you to a simple dive of how sleep works. I'll introduce you to the sleep cycle. The first stage, actually, can you all please close your eyes so you can experience this like a bedtime story. The first stage, you fall asleep. This is like the start of your adventure. Your body starts to relax, your thoughts wander, you're the edge of sleep and life. And the stage two, light sleep. Well, now we're in the heart of your sleep adventure. Your body temperature drops, your heart beats more slowly. It's the main part of this journey, and your body starts to rest and fix itself. Anyway, on the third stage, deep sleep. This is where things get interesting. Your body works hard to repair itself during this stage. You're in a deep and restful sleep. If someone tried to wake you up, you wouldn't wake up. You're like a sleeping giant. And then finally, stage 4, REM sleep. This is where scientists are really, really excited about. REM sleep, your body is as functioning as if you're awake. Your eyes start to move around, your brain works the same way. You start to dream at this point. You go through all sort of adventures, and then your body stays still though. You won't move. No muscle works, nothing works that time. Just your brain. Well, now, let's assume you fell asleep, but what is the proof that this might affect my academical performances, blah, blah, blah? Well, let me introduce you to the elephant in the room. I'm sorry, the hippo in the room. The hippocampus. The hippocampus is like the brain's own librarian. It's part of your brain which is really important for your memory. Imagine that your brain is a big library filled with books, and the hippocampus is the librarian that picks out the book that you need at the time. Very useful, trust me. On a study done by Mr. Robert Havertz, I hope I spelled that right, he placed mice in a room with a few objects. Now, why mice, you may ask? Mice's hippocampus has the same basic function as a human hippocampus. They're the same shape, but they're relatively small in size and less neurons go through them. I'll tell you what neurons are in a few moments. It was observed that the mouse would map the entire box, and once they fall asleep and get up, they remember exactly where the objects were. They started interacting with them. They started finding the food that they left over. Well, this is where the scientists did the change. I named the mouse Louis, by the way. It's a cool name. Anyway, after the mouse went to sleep, the mouse remembered exactly where the things were. So it didn't care. And when you change a certain object, it observes that object only. That proves it. More proof that the mouse knows exactly where the objects were before it went to sleep. But here's what the scientists did. They sleep deprived the mouse for 5 hours. Well, you might think, okay, not a big thing. I've stayed up for longer than that. But here's what it did to the mouse. After 5 hours of sleep depriving, the mouse couldn't figure out what's different. It was like, oh God, this thing is new. It's like it's been put to a new room. It has no memory of what it did. If this isn't raising you concerns, then I don't know what should. Well, but this is the difference. Our hippocampus transfers signals using neurons. Neurons are like chemical and electrical signals that are transferred in your brain. And in the neurons, there's something called a dendrite. And the dendrite has spines. Now, when the scientists conducted the experiments, they checked the mouse's dendrites before and after the sleep deprivation. And this is what they found. 30% less information is being passed on to the hippocampus. 30%! That's like literally almost 1/3 of all the information that transfers from the mouse to the hippocampus, to the sensors, gone. Do you know how much this affects the mouse? Like, for example, let's say you remember where your car keys were, your car was, what your phone is, your passwords. If this happened to you, you wouldn't be living. You come to a point where you would even forget your own name. Well then, there's a problem though. These are mice, not humans. Even though they're mice, we still have the same hippocampus. The human effect of it is very slow, very small, but it does add up. There is proof that humans with sleep deprivation have memory problems. They can't memorize small things, they can't memorize long chapters of books. It is a problem. But many people just brush it off, as society calls it. It's normal for a person your age to do that. You're supposed to kill sleep. This is the life. Is it? Now we might see how this affects our thinking. Now let's imagine a small question from you guys first. I'm gonna ask you two questions, which are already on the screen. If a bat and a ball cost $1.10, and the bat is actually, if a bat is $1 more than the ball, how much is the ball? Well, most of you might say that it's 10 cents, but we'll check on that in a bit. The second question: what is 12 times 6? Sorry, 12 times 16. My bad. And these, well, the first question, the answer is not 10 cents, it's 5 cents. If just think about it a little more, your brain just spat out the answer of 5 cents. That is because of how the brain is structured. And while the second question, you take a longer amount of time, but you get the answer correct. We can think of your brain as two sections. One section is Albert Einstein, and your other section is a hyperactive monkey on drugs. Okay, the hyperactive monkey or drug is fast. It can quickly get the information. It can answer simple questions. 1 plus 1, 2. 2 plus 2, 4. 2 squared, 4. That's the monkey. The monkey can quickly spit out answers. These are what people call muscle reflexes. It's not in the muscles, it's in the brain. And then we have Mr. Albert Einstein himself. When the monkey can't solve the problem, let's say like a big calculation like 20 to the power of 14, the monkey passes it on to Mr. Albert Einstein. Now, Albert Einstein is a slow guy. He's old. So what he does is he takes a chair, gets a piece of paper, and writes down the question and does it. This takes more time, but it is way more accurate. So then you might ask, why doesn't Albert Einstein do everything in the brain? Well, then if that did, then we wouldn't be able to live from a car crash. As when we see a car moving forward, the monkey pushes us forward so we don't get hit by the car. Hope you understand. Moving on. Stress and sleep. Well, now, these are the main two problems that are in students' mind these days. I don't get enough sleep and I am very stressed. Please help me. Well, normally I can't fix the stress part, but I can help you fix the sleep part. Well, stress is a state of worry and tension. You can think of stress like a bat. Whenever it is around, you're worried and you go into your stress mode. Stress mode is turned on. But when the bear leaves, when you're back at peace again, stress mode turns off. Well, then how exactly is stress related to sleep habits, you might ask? Well, during a study conducted in Saudi Arabia, it was found that students with high stress had high sleep deprivation. Didn't sleep a lot. They used to work, med students specifically, they used to work on the medical studies day and night in the library, in the dorm room, and they didn't get enough sleep. But here's the catch. They all had pretty good academic performances. How is that, you might ask? Well, let's snap back to reality for a second. We have dreams. Everyone does have dreams. But then, do you have to kill your sleep to achieve your dreams? Do you really have to? Sleep is an important part of your life. You just can't take it as like a small calculator where, okay, I'll sleep 2 hours today, I'll sleep 3 hours today. No. You have to get a good amount of sleep so your body can be in its best shape. If you get into a good routine, I swear, you will wake up every morning, every day, and you will be as fresh as ever. You can start working like a good person. Your health will be great. You will be living till you're 90. No problem. Well, you might be asking, why am I telling this? Because I am a person who's gone through sleep deprivation. It's not good. Like, you have effects on your body you don't even realize. You get sick. Antibiotics don't help. It's just like your body just works better to cure yourself. Now, I go to parties, I go to concerts, I sleep at about 3 a.m., wake up at about 6 a.m. But I was fed up with that. At one point, I started to think, okay, let me give this new sleep routine a thing. It works, guys. Trust me. Now, to help you guys with your sleep routine, here's what I call the perfect sleep. You have to first make a good sleep schedule. Now, sleep schedule is you can get these things called sleep calendar, where you mark how much sleep you got, and you had to promise yourself, I am not going to use my phone 1 hour before sleep. I'm going to turn on the lights like this, going to adjust the temperature to this, and then I am going to read a book and fall asleep. I wake up in the morning as well, drink a good coffee, wash my face, brush my teeth, get ready for school. Having one of these routines is important because, as I said before, if you get used to a routine, you are good. That routine will be there. It's really hard to get rid of that routine, trust me. And then improve your sleep quality, which meaning like if you sleep on a bad mattress, probably think about changing that. Uh, don't use a lot of pillows as that does affect your spine, and just have a good temperature, wear comfy clothes on a good sleep environment. The temperature depends a lot with the quality of sleep. Quality is equal to quantity when it comes to sleep. And the second is create a personalized sleep routine. Because at the end of the day, sleep is your own thing. It's different to person, just like my skin color, my voice, the way my brain works. It's not the same to everyone. This is just a general thing about sleep. For 90% of the people, this will work, but for the other 10%, this won't. This is where you need to pay attention to your own sleep schedule. Well, I have talked to you about sleep. It's your time to take the action. We can prove society that we can do everything they're telling us. We can be the perfect student with the amount of sleep we need. It's fine if you kill sleep for a few days, but don't make it a habit, as it's just gonna affect your health in the longer term. Let's take a step in fixing 1/3 of our lives to look forward to an actual longer life, where we can chill in our 80s, remembering our good old days as crazy free teenagers. I wish you all a great day and hope you all sleep well. Thank you.